So to take input from a file, we have to first see how the Python works with the files. So the basic statements to work with the files are, first of all, we have to open a file. So let's take an variable file and then store open, comma. So here you have to first mention the absolute path of the file. So you can copy that from the properties of the file or something. I am directly posting the name of the file, as my file will be created in the same folder where this python.py file is existing. So if you are creating a file there only, then there is no need to put the whole path or the relative path. Else you have to print the else you have to print else you have to put the entire path of the file from which you have to take the input. So let's open this file, and then here we have to specify some parameters which are R, W or B. So here R means read, here W means write, and B means binary. So binary is taken because images and audio files are written in the binary. We can't directly take the image and video files, so we take its binary representation. So here we have to mention which function we have to do. Do we have to read, do we have to write, or do we have to take binary? So we have to read the input from the input.txt file. So let's put a R here. Let's execute this. So here we got an file not found error, as this file was not created named as input.txt. Let's create and save it as input.txt and save. Let's also create an output now only. Let's create output.txt and then save. So now if we run this, so it got successfully completed. So let's access or read the data in the file. So let's print some code from here. Let's copy this and print. So here now we can read file. Let's save that into data equal to file dot read. So read is a function which reads the whole file. So now if we run this and then print the data, so here you can see that raise type error. So let's mention some specific digits up to which it has to read. So here raise is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's mention 10 and then read. So it only wrote the 10 characters which are in the text. So this is the R is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10. So here 10 is up to this, including the space. So here space is also included. So if you change this to 100, so it will read up to all, because after that there is no such thing. So if we read up to 50, then also let's read up to 20. So you will get 20 letters from the file. So as we have opened this file, we have to always close this file, else the Python will keep this file open and your program will become heavy and will start lagging. So let's close this by using file.close and then parentheses. So here it will not affect the execution of the program, as nothing changed in this, but if we keep this on, then there will be a problem that the file is never closed and it keeps on opening new and new file. So let's read only single lines. So let's change this to 2 lines. Let's create this 3 lines and then change this to read lines and then execute. So here read lines gives us a list of the lines mentioned in the input.txt. So here you can see raise, and then you can also see here that it encountered an \n, which we used as a special character for next line. So similarly it captures everything up to the new line. So it also included this \n, the special character. So if we change this to read line, so it will read only the first line. So it will read the first line only with a new character, with a new line character. So here let's take a lines and then take a list. So this is basically a representation of list, means the square bracket, which we will cover in our further lectures. These are special data structures used in the Python. As we saw in the beginning, as the file was not there, so it throwed an file error. So we can also check this using our error handling. So let's try opening a file, random file which is not present in a space. So let's give some random name and then .txt, and we will read, or write, you can mention anything, and let's accept file not found. Error. So if file is not found, then we have to print check the file name again. So as we mentioned some random file name and it is not present in this, so it finally checked this error, file not found error, and then printed this check the file name. So this all we discussed in our errors and error handling videos. So if we cut this and then put a regular input.txt file, so here, so as I said, we have to finally close the file after doing all our things. So as we discussed in that video only, that finally executes even if the condition is true, else if it is false. So let mention here file dot close. So here as we opened here and did some random functions, so let's read file dot read lines and then execute. So here let's print also print data. So here we did all this set of tasks and then finally we close the file. So you can also use this type of arrangement to close the file every time the file is open. So as we discussed file opening, so let's write something using the file. Let's save, let's remove this all, let's change this to write and then change this to output.txt. So if we run, so it executed successfully as it found the output. So Sublime has a good feature in which, so we can divide these windows of the screen and then see the output and input in the same view. So let's go to view and then layout. So here we need 2 columns. So let's change this, minimize it, let's change the size of this, and then here after clicking the cursor here we have to go to view again and then create a new group here. So if we create a new group, you can see here one window is appearing, here one window is appearing. So let's reduce this and then put the input in the above window and then output in the below window. So we can easily change the input here and see the output. So let's add file dot write hi. So as you can see, output.txt got changed and we can see the output here as we wrote the in the output. So we can also write lines, many lines using this, as this is Python lover. So if I execute this, you can see here as we just type the write function, so it just write and didn't put anything after this. So you can see here we didn't got the line after this, so we can mention here \n and then you can see this shifted into next line. So here we have to then close the file. So this is writing to the file. So let's comment this and create a function of copying all the data from this input file to the output file. So let's first open the input. Let's take the inp and then open the input.txt file and then read all the data from this input file using input.read. So we will store this into data and then we will again open output file using open output.txt and then we will write here w. So then out dot we will write the whole data into it and then close both the out and the input file. So let's execute this and check whether it works or not. So it works. So as we changed raise, type error and this all, let's change this to hi, I love Python. So let's run this. Now let's run this. So here we got the same thing. So let's add a line. So here also we will get a line as second. So you can see we can do anything of stuff using this and then you can use the input output. But here there is a problem. While we take the input from the Python, so as we were discussing of taking input from the files, but the Python takes the input from the standard input and standard output. So we can modify that. So let's comment this and then mention an import of sys, means this is a system module which is predefined in the Python. So we will change the system dot standard input to, we will open the file named input.txt and then read the things from this. Means as we are taking the standard std standard input, so in input we take the input from the users, so we are reading this and in the next line we will put standard output as open, we will open the output.txt and then we will write here. So if we execute this, so it successfully ran. So let's give here output input as 6. So let's create a variable x, and here we will input, we will take the input from the file. Let's convert this into, let's just see the whether it works or not, and then print it to print x. So if we run this, so here you can see that 6 is taken from the input. So here input refers to the standard input which we have modified to the input.txt. So what did we did? We imported the system module and then changed the standard input, means from where the Python takes the input, we modified it to this file, the input.txt file, and then change the standard output to the output.txt file. So whenever we print something, it will be printed into output, and whenever we take some input from the Python, it will directly take the input from this input.txt. So we can also change here 676, and then if we run this, you can see. So you can directly also print something as hi, this is coder. So you can see whatever we print, means whatever we were outputting in this console, it is now outputted in this output.txt. So it became easy due to this Sublime window interface. We can use input, output, and the program on same page. So this is a good thing for competitive programmer, as we need to simultaneously do changes in our input, output, and program. So we can do all that stuff in a single window of the Sublime text. So we can also change this input to anything, as let's take input hi, this is, so we will put here the name of the user, so dot format and then x. So if we type here the name as ball and then run this, so you can see hi, this is ball. So if we change this to rock, then you can see here it get changed to rock. So it's a good feature, and for the competitive programmer it is the best feature, as input, output, and program all comes under the same window. So that's all for this lecture. We discussed the files, how to open, how to close, and do all that stuff, and then the input output stream, which are the main fundamental concepts for the competitive programmer. That's all for this video. You can check out the whole playlist of learning Python which are showing on the